the grace of either true surrender or the use of self-inquiry. Is that either vehicle, when carried all the way, all of the mechanisms which feed the illusion of someone are no longer fed. And what creates this illusion was briefly pointed to earlier in this intensive. That is this identification that I am this body-mind that is generated out of perceptive experience, which is on this pain-pleasure continuum. So this body experiences a continuum of varying degrees of pleasure and pain. And the imprint, the memory, this mind is frightened by pain. And it desires pleasure. And this constant movement following desire for pleasure and the fear of pain drives the habit of thinking, the habit of turning attention into what is called the external, the habit of removing attention from where all of this is coming. In true surrender, there is the beauty of this trust, this taste that ignites this love. In this trust, there begins to be the trusting of receiving everything instead of attempting to control and run from and create. In self-inquiry, instead of movement away from, it is movement into. Mind is movement, ego is movement away from, inquiry is movement into. When there is movement into the roots of where things are springing forth, there is eventually the direct seeing. When what is driving anything is any level of fear or desire, it will never bring about true seeing because it is being driven by ego. In true surrender, there is neither. In true inquiry, there is neither. When this is the case, what reveals itself is true discovery, which cannot occur when there is attempting, trying to get away from, all arising out of the illusion of someone. But when surrender is pure, or investigation, or what is called inquiry is pure, what is discovered is that this creation of what seems to be someone seems to be you is complete myth. that at the fundamental roots, every ego construct carries some degree of self-hatred. If you are not aware of it, the investigation has not gone deep enough. It is not something unique to someone. It is the case in every ego construct. Everything that drives behavior that is experienced as I am doing is being driven by some degree to manipulation. It is driven by an attempt to get something or get away from something. It is driven by an attempt to feed and take care of me. Even if the story is, it is the most benevolent act. If there is the experience of someone doing it, it is a bargain. The degree to which the amnesia exists, this is the degree to which it is action of pure ignorance. When this beauty is infusing this dream because of work, there can be a mix of both at play. But action that is pure is never experienced as mine. It is not about getting something, thus it is not about the future. Thus the taste of what is present is not lost. Thus the flavor of the beauty which is animating is not lost. This is known as pure action. Now this ego, this experience of someone who in almost all cases is trying to wake up to get away from its own suffering, to make itself feel better. But the grace is that when there is a taste, that taste readies something. And what it readies is true surrender, is the willingness to go into true investigation, to stop or release the habit of getting for me or getting away from me, and either just stopping or moving directly into the source of what is coming up instead of away from it into what is called the external environment. And when this is coming from something pure, what reveals itself to the astonishment, to your astonishment in the beginning, is that this mechanistic thing that is driven around self-survival with this underpinning of self-hatred, something to hide, something to control, something to get in some degree in every single action that is felt to be mine. What is recognized is it is all pure innocence. It has nothing to do with you. If there is an attempt to get away from, you are already swallowed. The work has not completed itself. It does not matter what the mechanics are. They are all mechanics. It is like a robot. There is no life in it. It is lifeless. The life is the self. The self is pure beauty. It is not an action. It is not a movement. It is. What arises out of what is, which is now, which is not thought, which is not memory, which is not someone. It is the feeling of what is. What arises out of this may be called movement, but the movement is like the movement of the wind. There is no sense of something personal when the wind is blowing. There is no sense of ownership. There is no sense of someone. The taste of what is unmoving remains. And the nectar and beauty of what is creating the appearance of movement is pure love and compassion. As soon as it is someone's love or compassion, it is manipulation latched onto by buried beliefs of self-hatred in all of its sophistication, yet it is innocence. There is no one found in it. It is all a contrivance. Pure humility is the willingness to release. What conditioning has taught you is safe and in your best interest. Releasing the habit of going for it for me. Releasing the habit of getting away from it because I don't like it. And stopping. Stopping and receiving the grace. It is all constructed to deconstruct the ignorance, which opens the door to seeing that as crazy as this contrivance that the mind has called me may be, it has nothing to do with anyone. It is nothing to fear. It is nothing to protect. It is nothing to take care of. It is in fact nothing. And then you reveal yourself to yourself. Whatever insane, arrogant, self-indulgent acts that were contrived by this mental condition will keep going. Can say it softens because as the grip releases, there is this intermixing of action that arises that has nothing to do with conditioning. But conditioning is conditioning. It does not have the ability to change because it's a program. There's no one there. Everything that feels like I am doing it has at least some degree of that driving. Mind has story. I must change. I must meet myself. I must fix this. But there is no I. It has nothing to do with anyone. It is pure innocence. And you discover it not by getting away from it, but by either surrendering into it or diving into it. This occurs when there is the release of alignment with its desires and release of its habits of attempting to control. Your nature is eternal. The flavor of yourself is more beautiful than anything this body-mind has ever even approximated. It is the creation of this pleasure-pain continuum. The conditioned mind says pain is bad and pleasure is good. But until you are equally open to all of it, you cannot know yourself. The greatest recommendation that is possible, so long as there is the experience that I am doing, it is to do for everything other than you. It is the opposite of the way mind thinks. This is what quiets mind. Action that is for God and not for me. Action that is for me feeds ego. Action that is only for God quiets mind. This is the truth. The definition of karma yoga. Karma yoga is believed to be doing some action that is in some service. But where it comes from is action that is offered to God. Can be brushing your teeth. When there is true ripeness, the doorway is made perfectly clear. The mystery is taken out of it. It boils down to whether the force to feed the conditioning is stronger than either the hunger to know yourself or the passion for the beloved, dependent on whether it is the path of the jnani or the bhakti. It is so beautiful to recognize this constant infiltration of me, that every single me is all fucked up. There is nothing unique about it. And it is pure innocence. And it is attached to no one. And the whole thing is pure myth. And the question is, where is the hunger? Where is the hunger? If first I need to take care of this and this, at that point, the hunger lies with me. The beauty is, as so many of you realize, all you need to do is hang around, and eventually it will be eroded enough. Because freedom from suffering is what everyone truly longs for. And the mystery of it has been demystified because of something ripe in you. You know it can offer something in concept, but when there is the revelation, the true revelation that this construct has nothing to do with me, there are no words to describe the sense of relief. When it is grabbed as concept, as it so often is, this is the great danger. In humility, you live knowing nothing. For the truly earnest one, true freedom from all of it is inevitable.